Okay, so 2 years later, this question is once again resurfacing for the fandom after the release of Boruto Manga Chapter 51. Hello and welcome to WhyZ. My name is Soham and today we are going to talk about Sasuke's Rinnegan and who could potentially inherit it after the apparent upcoming death of Uchiha Sasuke. Now please keep in mind that this video will contain massive spoilers for the Boruto manga. You have been warned if you are an anime only viewer. Also, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to the channel since I do weekly anime and manga related content. Also, we're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2020, so like and sub would be massively appreciated. Now 2 years back, this question was buzzing all over the internet as to who would inherit the Rinnegan of Sasuke. At that time, if you all remember, then Jigen really kicked the asses of Sasuke and Naruto collectively, so everyone thought that Sasuke might die at that moment. But as we all know, that didn't happen. But this time it seems really true because the things are looking very grim for Sasuke Uchiha and the death flags are all over the place. If you recall, in my past videos, I made the prediction that Naruto is not going to die because of certain reasons. I'm not going to repeat it here once again, but I basically suggested that even if Naruto did die, he would eventually be brought back by Sasuke Uchiha after using the Rinne rebirth technique. And this will eventually lead to his own death. Now, Sasuke's death is very important in the series and it's almost a given because it will eventually lead to the character growth and character development of a lot of other characters. Say for example Sarada and Boruto. Even Naruto will be affected by it obviously, but the most important effect would be on Boruto as well as Sarada. And I really don't think I need to explain why this would be the case because Boruto's sensei is basically Sasuke and obviously Sarada is the daughter of Sasuke. So they have the direct connection with Sasuke in this matter. But the biggest question here is that who will actually inherit the Rinnegan of Sasuke? I have two major potential candidates for this thing and they are the 7th Hokage Uzumaki Naruto and Sarada Uchiha, his daughter. I know that the fandom believes that there are more people who might get the eventual choice of getting Sasuke's Rinnegan. I'll go over them one by one, but I'll give my personal reasonings as to why I think Naruto or Sarada might be the people who will eventually inherit Sasuke's Rinnegan. I'll give my reasoning to all of this in a bit. But first, let me go over the other potential candidates and why I don't think that's going to necessarily be the case. The first one is probably Boruto himself, the protagonist. I really don't think it would make logical sense to give Boruto the Rinnegan. Now I know that the Boruto series is not giving a lot of respect to the Rinnegan. Now obviously original Naruto fans know the importance of the Rinnegan and how powerful this dojutsu was, and for a lot of original fans it might seem like the Boruto series is not giving a lot of respect to Rinnegan, and that might be the case. I have made a video upon this titled The Rinnegan Problem of Boruto, but still this particular dojutsu is extremely powerful and it is something which not a lot of people have been able to awaken in the entire history of the Naruto series, so it's something very special. And I don't think it would make a lot of narrative sense to give it directly to Boruto because it will basically make him a lot more overpowered and narrative wise it would not make a lot of sense. Moreover, we have already seen the future tease for the series featuring Teen Boruto and Teen Kawaki, and obviously the Rinnegan was not featured there. Boruto was wearing Sasuke's cloak and he was having Sasuke's headband and Sasuke's sword. So even if Boruto had actually inherited the Rinnegan there and then it would have definitely been shown to us at that moment. Also the case can be made for the Jogan, although it's a bit of a contradiction in the fandom because of the anime versus manga debate. I still think that the Jogan is a real thing. Boruto's eyes in the future are not the pure eye or not the Byakugan. I still think that it's the Jogan and it will eventually be introduced in the manga as well. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, I really don't think that Boruto will be eventually getting the Rinnegan. Now next up on the list is Hatake Kakashi, the 6th Hokage. Obviously we all know that Kakashi and Sasuke have a very old bond. Kakashi was actually Sasuke's teacher. He taught him a lot of different techniques from his classic Chidori to a lot of different stuff. We all know, the original Naruto fans know the relation between Sasuke and Kakashi. And even more than a teacher, he is like a life coach for him. And literally no fan can forget the meeting of adult Sasuke and Kakashi, and when Kakashi literally burns Sasuke because he teases him with his daughter. That was an epic moment. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, I really don't think Kakashi should get the Rinnegan because currently he is semi-retired. I know that he's not as old as the series might want him to be portrayed as. He is still technically quite young, but he has done a lot of things in his entire childhood and entire life, and now I think he deserves some well-earned rest. So Kakashi inheriting the Rinnegan will not make a lot of sense, because again there would be a huge chakra problem. If you remember during the original series how Obito's Mangekyo Sharingan had a toll on Kakashi. Kakashi was literally bedridden for using the Mangekyo Sharingan's ability of Kamui upon Deidara. So currently I don't think it would make a lot of sense for him to get the Rinnegan as well, because obviously now he does not have the Sharingan. Obito's Sharingan was taken away from him, and now he has developed the Purple Lightning as a replacement for his Chidori. So it would kind of nullify his personal efforts and personal hard work in my opinion. It would not make a lot of sense for him to get the Rinnegan, or at least that's what I personally think. And lastly, it's his wife, Sasuke's wife, Sakura. Now I know a lot of people don't like Sakura, there are these Sakura haters and all. I never personally understood that amount of hate for Sakura. I know that in Naruto Shippuden she can be quite obnoxious and quite irritable to be honest, but I never really understood that huge or big deal of Sakura hatred. Especially after reading the manga and comparing it with the scenes from the anime, I understood that there's a lot of difference between the portrayal in both the mediums. So personally, I never really jumped into the Sakura hate train, but either way you cannot deny the fact that Sakura Haruno, or Sakura Uchiha now, is a very strong Jonin from Konoha. You cannot deny her strength, you cannot deny her proficiency, and you cannot deny her medical ninjutsu. But that being said, I really don't think that Sakura would be a good enough character to get the Rinnegan. First of all, I do not think that the Rinnegan will be compatible to Sakura in any sort of way or form. Her jutsus, her strength and her fighting style is not at all compatible or matching with the Rinnegan as such. I know that the Sharingan line requires a lot of chakra control and chakra focus, but I don't think it will match properly with her medical ninjutsu. She already has a very big OP power in the form of the Byakugo seal or Byakugo mark, whichever you prefer to call it, and incorporating all of this with the Rinnegan would not be a good enough choice in my opinion. So these are three potential candidates whom I think might not be getting the Rinnegan anytime soon. But now let's head on to our two main people who might be eventually getting the Rinnegan. So obviously let me first talk about Sarada Uchiha. Sarada Uchiha is the daughter of Sasuke and Sakura. She has already learned quite a lot of techniques that Sasuke originally used from the Chidori and other stuff. She has also unlocked her 3 Tomoe Sharingan, and her next eventual evolution would be the Mangekyo Sharingan. Obviously she has not awakened the Mangekyo yet because she has not faced such a big amount of trauma. But here, I think Sasuke's death would be a very big factor for her to unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan. Obviously, the case can be made here that Sarada will be the one who will eventually get the Rinnegan as well, because she's after all Sasuke's own daughter. And to be perfectly honest with you all, I think that in the long run, yes, Sarada will eventually inherit the Rinnegan from her father. But I don't think it is happening right now, right here. If at all Sasuke dies in the next chapter or in the upcoming chapters, like say in the next 5 to 10 chapters, I really don't think that Sasuke will give Sarada his Rinnegan. It won't make a lot of sense for him because Sarada is still young and she is still inexperienced. Eventually when she grows older, she will definitely get the Rinnegan from, I'll get to it whom, but she will eventually get the Rinnegan. But currently it does not make sense for her to inherit the Rinnegan. She first needs to get her Mangekyo Sharingan, and I don't know what will be the case with Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan or what even would be her abilities, special abilities for the Mangekyo Sharingan, but currently she needs to unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan and basically get used to the power of all of this. She needs to get used to the powers of Susanoo and all the other stuff. Otherwise the Rinnegan will be quite ineffective or inexperienced at the hands of Sarada. So currently, I think the best case scenario or best alternative to all of this would be Naruto Uzumaki himself. Hokage Naruto getting the Rinnegan will be the best possible outcome for Sasuke, for Boruto, for Konoha in general. For all of them, this would be the best possible outcome. Obviously, Naruto is the strongest character in Konoha and he's on par or maybe even stronger than Sasuke to some extent. I really don't want to get into the debate of who is stronger, Sasuke or Naruto, but you basically get my point. So personally, I feel like Naruto getting the Rinnegan would be the best possible course of action here, because number 1, he has the Hashirama cells, number 2, he has Sage of Six Paths, he was granted the abilities of Sage of Six Paths by Hagoromo himself, and he also has the powers of all the 9 Bijus inside of him. So getting the Rinnegan will basically make him the third coming of Rikudo Sennin after Pain and Madara themselves. So narrative wise, I guess this would make a lot of sense, and particularly in this battle against the Otsutsuki, this would make a lot of logical sense, and plot wise it would be very much effective. I think the situation might go in this particular manner. Sasuke will tell Naruto to inherit his Rinnegan so that he can tap into the power of the Rikudo Sennin once again and put an end to this Otsutsuki menace. Obviously that's not going to happen because we have seen the future scene of Boruto facing off against Kawaki, but still you get my point here. But what will happen here is that Naruto will obviously be able to handle the powers of Rinnegan. He has seen them most closely than anyone other than Sasuke. He knows the powers of the Rinnegan. He knows Sasuke's Rinnegan the most. He will be able to handle this power very well. And we might even get a scene of Hagoromo appearing once again inside Naruto's consciousness after he reunites both the Indra and Ashura powers. So that might be the case here, and eventually down the line, like after this battle with Ishiko Otsutsuki is over, after Sarada gets a little older, Naruto will then pass on the Rinnegan to Sarada after she has managed to learn and master her Mangekyo Sharingan abilities. So that would make a lot of sense in my particular opinion, and I think that the Boruto series might be teasing or going into that particular direction. Granted, we are eventually getting Sasuke's death in the upcoming chapters. And let's be real, it's happening. Sasuke's death is eventually going to happen. Maybe not in the next chapter, maybe not in the next 5 chapters, but in future Sasuke's death is eventually about to happen. That's for sure, that's 100% fact. I still believe that Naruto will not die, or maybe the thing with Rinne rebirth that might happen, whatever. But my point is that Naruto will not die and Sasuke will die. That's one thing we all can judge from the current predicaments of the manga. And eventually I think that Naruto will be the first person who will get Sasuke's Rinnegan, and after that, after Sarada gets older, Naruto will pass it on to Sarada himself. Now once again, all of this is just a theory. This is not a 100% prediction that this is how the things are eventually going to evolve, but what are your thoughts about all of this? Please mention them in the comment section below. Am I right or am I wrong? And what are your theories upon this regard? Please mention them in the comments. But that's it for today guys, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel for more. This is WhyZ and I'll see you soon in the next video.